Today we'll be doing part 2 of 8.2. The focus again is similar to yesterday. It's I can compute tax, tip, and commission problems. Yesterday we focused a little bit more on tax and tip. Today we're going to focus more on commission problems. The warm-up is just a review. So it says if we usually pay 100% of the price and tax was 8.7%, what is the total percent we would actually pay? So if you remember from yesterday or in part 1, we took, to find the new price percentage, we would take the original, which is 100%, plus the tax or tip, whatever it was, and add those together. So we just take the 100% plus 8.7% to give us our total percent of what we would actually pay, which is 108.7%. All right, today we'll like I said, we'll focus a little bit more on commission. So it says you may have noticed that there's another way to figure out tax and tip problems. Let's take a look. So we will do a few tax and tip problems in a different way, a little bit different than yesterday. Example 3 says a new cell phone costs $799 and you have to pay 8.7% tax. Find the new price. So part A says the old price. This is similar to what we did yesterday. The old price is just the original cost of the cell phone, which is $799. Remember, our old percent was just 100%. That's how much the cell phone costs, is 100%. We're going to add the tax percent to it. That's given to us up in the problem up here. It's 8.7. And we're going to find our new percentage. So our new percentage, we just take our old plus the tax, so 100 plus 8.7, which will give us 108.7%. That's our new percent. This will help us to find the new price. So our new price is equal to our new percent. We're going to move the decimal over to the left because we like our percentages in decimal form. So we've got 1.087 as our decimal form of our percent. And then we're going to times it by our original cost. So this kind of eliminates one step where we don't have to find the tax and then add it to the old price. We just do that all in one step. If you type in 1.087 parentheses 799 parentheses in your calculator, you should get that your new price is $868.51. So that's a little bit faster in that it skips that one step. We don't have to find the tax and add it to the original price. We're just going right to the new price. Let's do another example similar to that, but this time we're going to do it with a tip. All right, so example 4 says the check total is $45.89 and you give a 20% tip. Find the new price. So part A, our old price, that's just our original check, which is $45.89. Our old percent is 100%. It's always 100%. We're not going to pay half of our bill. We're going to pay our full bill. And then we're going to figure out what our tip is. So our tip is 20%. So our new price, our new percent, we take our old price, which is 100, plus our tip, which is 20. So our new percent is 120%. This will help us to find our new price. So we're going to move our decimal. Remember, we like our percentages in decimal form, so we're going to move our decimal 2 to the left. So our new price is equal to 1.2 or 1.20. And then we're going to times that by the old price or the original price, which is $45.89. All right, when you multiply that together, your new price ends up being $55.07. So similar to yesterday, we just skip one step and put our new price all together. All right, there's a note here. You can always figure out the tax or tip if you need to by subtracting the old price from the new price. So sometimes it's fast to do it this way, but we don't know exactly what our tax is. So let's actually come up to example 4 and let's figure out what our tip would be. So we take our new price and we subtract our original price. So this will tell us what our tip was. All right, so 55.07 minus 45.89 ends up being $9.89. So that would be your tip amount if they ask you to find your actual tip. So let's go back to example 3. So let's say they wanted to know what the actual tax was. So again, you would take your new price, which is our $868.51, and subtract our original price, or our old price, our $799. When you subtract the two, you end up with $69.51, and that ends up being your tax, since this problem is dealing with tax. So that's just another way to find the tax. All right, let's take a look at how people earn money by using some different commission pay structures. So we're going to focus a little bit on the second part with commission. Let's look at example 5. Example 5 says your mom is a real estate agent who works on straight commission. Most deals she makes 1.75% of the sales price of the house. She recently sold a house for $369,000. How much was her commission? All right, so we're looking for how much was her commission. So her commission, since it's a straight commission, is 1.75% of $369,000. So remember, this is kind of the form that we always do, is we put it into a sentence. So let's now make it a mathematical equation. So commission, I'm going to use C for commission. Is usually tells us we're going to use an equal sign. Our percent, remember, we want in decimal form, so I'm going to move my decimal 2 to the left. So in decimal form, 1.75% ends up being 0.0175. Of means we're going to multiply by 369,000. All right, so when you type that in your calculator, 0.0175 times 369,000, this will tell us what our commission is. So the commission, your mom ends up earning $6,457.50 for this home. So that's one type of commission problem that you'll see. Another one is called tiered commissioning. So example 6 shows us how this works. So example 6 says your dad sells semi-trucks at a local truck dealer that pays him a tiered commission. He makes $500 in base pay plus commission on his monthly sales. His commission structure is as follows: 1.5% for the first $100,000 in sales and 2% for everything over $100,000. How much will he make if he sells $315,000 worth of trucks this month? Okay, the key question here is, did he sell enough to qualify for both tiers? So he's got a base pay. He always has this $500. And then the first one is 1.5% for $100,000. So he definitely got that since he sold $315. And then 2% for everything over $100,000. Again, this $315 is over $100,000. So he definitely made both tiers. So the way we're going to figure out his commission, he's got this base pay plus commission 1, since he qualified for that first commission tier. And he also qualified for the second commission tier. So we're going to add the second commission as well. So in order to figure that out, let's kind of set up the tier. So we've got our $315,000. That's how much his dad sold altogether, or your dad sold altogether. So tier 1 is $100,000 at our 1.5%, and that just comes straight from our problem up here. The second tier is that, so anything over that 100,000. So we're going to take 100,000 off of this 315. So that means we're left with $215,000 at, the second tier is 2% for everything over 100,000. So we're going to do 2% for that. All right, let's change it into a mathematical sentence. So commission, I'm just going to abbreviate with COM, is, remember we do our percent next, so 1.5% of our 100,000. We're always writing these sentences in this section on percents. Let's do the same thing for the other one. Let's write our sentence already. Sometimes it's easier to just keep writing the sentence. So commission 2 is, we put our percent, 2% of our $215,000. All right, so now we've got our sentence written. Now we're going to change it into an equation. So commission 1 is equal to, remember we want our percent in decimal form, so I'm going to move my decimal 2 to the left. So it ends up being 0.015 of our 100,000. All right, I'm going to do the same thing with commission 2. So commission 2 equals, we want this in percent form, so 2%, we're going to move our decimal over 2, so it ends up being 0.02, and of our 215,000, so we put our 215 in parentheses. All right, now we can figure out what these are, or we can just put it into this equation over here. So our base pay, if you come back up to the problem, it says he makes $500 in base pay. So I'm going to replace the base pay with 500. Commission 1, we kind of figured that out over here, is our 0.15 times 100,000. So I'm going to put that right here. And then we're going to add our commission 2, which again comes from over here. We kind of did a little work to this side. So we've got 0.02 times our 215,000. All right, so now we just need to figure out what these are. So I'm going to bring down the 500 since there's nothing that we really do with that. Let's actually figure out what commission 1 was. So 0.015 times 100,000, that gives us $1,500. And then commission 2, let's figure out what that is. So 0.02 times 215,000, that gives us $4,300. Now we just need to add these all together. So 500 plus 1,500 is 2,000. And then we're going to bring down this 4,300. So 2,000 plus 4,300, your dad ends up getting $6,300 in commission. All right, I want you to take a second and do the self-assessment. Self-assess how you feel on I Can Compute tax, tip, and commission problems. Yesterday we talked about one way to solve the tax and tip problems, and today we talked about another, and then we introduced commission problems also. So go ahead and take a look at that and circle how you feel about that, and then pull out your worksheet. The front part of your worksheet deals with tax and tips. I want to focus more on the commission, especially the two-tiered commission, the tiered commission. That seems to be a little bit more difficult. So flip your paper over to the back. Let's look at number 10. Number 10 says Sarah works in an appliance store. She earns 12% commission for sales up to $6,000 and an 18% commission for all sales over $6,000 for the month. Last month her sales were $18,200. How much was her commission? So the first question, like from the notes, the key question was, does she qualify for both tiers? So the first tier is up to $6,000. She definitely made over $6,000. So she qualifies for the first one. And then the second tier is all sales over $6,000. So again, if you look, she made $18,200. So she definitely made over that $6,000. She made the two tiers. So let's figure out what her two-tier commission would be. So total, she's commissioned, her sales were $18,200. So the first tier is the $6,000 at 12%. Now we have to take that $6,000 out of her sales. So if we take our $18,200 and subtract $6,000, then she ended up with $12,200 at that higher tier. And her higher tier is at 18%. All right, so when we figure out the commission, it's usually percent comes first. Like our other problems, we want our percent in decimal form, so that's 0.12, and we're going to multiply it by that 6,000. And then we're going to add these two commissions together. So the second commission, our percentage is 18%, so in decimal form that's 0.18 or 0.18. and we're going to multiply that by the rest of her commission, or the rest of her sales, which were 12,200. All right, and 0.12 times 6,000, that ends up giving us 720. And we're going to add that to her other commission. So 0.18 parentheses 12,200, close your parentheses. When you type that in your calculator, you get 2,196. And then we're just going to add those two values together. This is the commission for the first tier, the 720, and the 2,196 is the commission for the second tier. So when we add those together, this tells us her total commission, which was 2,916. All right, now you can get going on the rest of your worksheet.